I'm not sure. I can't hear anything. I don't know if anyone's speaking.
Oh, I wasn't audible.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, yes, I was muted. So welcome to today's session. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about dictionaries. Uh, at the end of the lecture, you will understand how to declare dictionary, how to access, modify, and look through the data in the dictionaries. Then we will explore the next data structures such as dictionaries inside, list or list inside dictionaries, and so on. So let's just start with how dictionary looks in real life. So this is dictionary. It's just a simple dictionary. Word wave. We all have this on our systems. So when you want to look up a word, when you want to search for meaning of a particular word, what you just supply is the key. That is the base word. For example, here we are searching for X. So X is the key, while the answer we get, the definition we get, is the value, like this. So we have the key and we have the value. This is what dictionary gives us when we look up for a particular word. Sometimes, like this, X has only one meaning for this, but sometimes you may get a number of meanings, like this one. This, someone, this is the value. This is another value. So if you look up certain words like the, uh, a, for example, you may get a number of meanings just like this, similar to this. So from this, we can identify X as the key for the first one, while beginner as the key for the second search or lookup. So this is it. So what's the definition of X from this? So it is the 24th letter of the Roman alphabet. That's the definition of X. So this is the value. Then, secondly, the definition of beginner is as we can see here. So now let's dive in. How can we represent this in Python? So in Python, what we do is we have the key at the left-hand side, then we follow up with colon after the key, then we provide the value. If we have, for example, for the first one, we have X, then this is the value for X. So X is the key, while this is the value. Then for the second uh, lookup for the beginner, so beginner is the key. While we have the first definition, then we have the second definition. So here you will understand something here, because we say that dictionary provides a means of pairing or mapping the key and value. Key value. For example, here we say a dictionary in Python is a collection of key value pair. We didn't say values here. That's why here we have a list. So a list contains the values or items here, but here is a key, but here is a single value, because here we use a list as an object. So we have one object. So we have object here as a key, then we have another object value here, which can contain many things inside. So a key is connected to a value. As you can see, a key is connected to a value. A key is connected to a value, and you can use a key to access the value associated with that key. So when we want to access this value, then we use the key to access the value. For this one, you can use this key to access this value. For example, when you want to access a definition of a particular word, then you use that word to access that definition in the dictionary. The same thing applies to a Python dictionary. So a key's value can be a number, So the value here can be a number, can be a string, it can be a list, or it can be another dictionary. So it doesn't need to be a list or a string or something else. It can be anything here. Likewise, the key as well. So in fact, you can use any object. You can use any object you know in Python to be your value. So in Python, dictionary is rough with this curly brace. We use curly brace to rough uh, the data. So with a series of key value pairs inside braces as shown. So let's see the first example. The first example here, we have a variable called alien. So we are telling the computer, hey computer, go to your memory, please reserve a space for me and name it alien underscore 0 so that I can use the place or the storage to store somebody. So here we have it, and we have two different items in the dictionary. We have this part separated by comma, and we have another part, this one. So we have two different items in this dictionary. Here, the color serves as the key, while green serves as the value. This one serves as the key, this one 5 serves as the value. So when you want to print what is in this dictionary, then we just run. So when we run, this is what we have. We have the key and we have the value. We have the key, we have the value. So in fact, dictionary, in short, dictionary contains key value pairs. So we have another example here. So we have definition as from above example. Look at this. We have set of definitions. So we have definition one, whereby we have the key X with its respective value. So we have another definition two, the key beginner. Then we have this value. So let's run and see this one again. So we see the first one, we have the key, we have the value. Second, we have the key and we have the value. All of these are the value. So now, how do we access? As we have said, when you want to access the value, you use the key because we have number of key value pairs in the dictionary. So dictionary can contain a number, n number of key value pairs. So imagine you want to access a particular value in the dictionary. How do you do that? So first of all, you have your variable like this. To access this value during, what you just need to do, you have to use the name of the variable contained in the dictionary. Then you use this square bracket, then you supply the key, then it gives you the value. Just as we use with a list, when you want to access a particular items, you use the index, but here instead of using the index, we use the value. So let's run and see. So this gives us the value, which is green as expected. So if you have number of items inside the dictionary, how do you do it? You do it one by one to access the value, basically. So for example, here we have two items in the dictionary, alien. Then here we want to access point, that we want to access the second value, not the key or key value pairs. We want to access 5 here. So how do we do that? So we use the key that is mapped to that value to access the value. So here we use the key, which is point. Then the result, we assign the result to the new point here. So when we want to print the value, we can use print function. You just add then we have the name of the variable, then we have this string. So let's run and see the result. So this is what we have because this variable contains 5 because this key points to this value 5. So that's why when we supply the key here, we have 5 here. This one returns 5 and 5 is assigned to new points. And here we print new points. So as expected, we have this 5. You just earn 5 points. Imagine you are creating a quiz or a game. So you can use this technique to display to the user what they he earned or she earns. So let's go to the another example. So look at this example again. Imagine you want to access this, the meaning of this. That's the value here. So we supply the key. So as you can see here, we have the name of the variable containing this dictionary. Then we have the key. Already we know the key, so we can just put it here. We have the name of the variable, we have the key, so this will give us this value. So let's run and see what we have. So as expected, we get the meaning. X here printed is the dash dash here. So that's the meaning. So let's go for another example here. So let's say, as you can see, we have a list and we already plan how to access values in the list, in a particular list. No matter how large the list is, we just use the name of the list, then we supply the index. So when we want to access, let's start by doing this. First, let me comment this line. So let's write definition 2. Let's see the result for this one. So look at the result. We have the whole dictionary. Then imagine you want to access this value. How do we do it? So we just supply the key. Yes. So we supply the key, which is beginner. Yes, beginner. So when we do this, this is what we have. We have a list. So imagine you have a list like this. How do we access the first items in the list? We use the index, yes? So index of this, the first item is index 0, yes? While the second is index 1. So when you want to access the first value here in this list, so we append to this the index of that list. For this one, we append the index of that list. I'm sure you remember how to access a list, how to access an item in a list. So now let's see this result. So you see beginner is this, that's the first definition, and beginner is this, that's the second definition. So imagine a dictionary can grow. That's why we have edition in our dictionary. In the real world, we can have dictionary, and every year words are added to the dictionary. So how do we add items to the dictionary? To add items in a dictionary is very, very simple. In the real world, you just need to put the word, the new word. Then you put the respective definition of that word. So something applies to a Python dictionary. When you want to add an item to the dictionary, what you just need to do, you just need to supply the key, then you give the value for that particular key. For example, here we have another dictionary defined here, which is similar to the above. We have two items in the dictionary. In the dictionary, we have this color the key, then we have green as the value. Then we have this point, the key, then we have 5 as the value for this key. So when you print the alien 0, then dictionary will be printed. The whole this part will be printed. So imagine you want to add an item to it. So what you just need to do is to get the name or the variable that contains the dictionary, then you give a key, a new key, then you assign value to it. Here you are matching this key with a value. Then we have another one, y position. We have the key, then we match it a value here, 25. So here we have added 2 different items in the dictionary. Now we have 4 items in the dictionary. Initially we have 2 items separated by comma, then we added 2 items separated by comma as well. So let's run and see. So now you see this is the first dictionary, while this one, the second after we have added 2 different items. So when you look at this, you will see that we have 2 additional items. And as expected, this X position has the value 0, while Y position has the value 25. So it doesn't mean that we can just uh, start creating dictionary with a value. Sometimes you can create a dictionary with nothing, just like empty list. So we can have empty dictionary with no key value pairs in it. Later, as you uh, run your program, then you can keep adding value to it. So here we have declared an empty dictionary with alien here because there is nothing. When you try to print alien here, you will see nothing. It's just an empty curly brace. So here we want to add items to the list. So to add item to the dictionary. So to add items, you have to supply the key for that items, then you give the value for that respective key. Then here we have another one. Then here we have the respective value for that. So when you print, so let's first print alien equals 0. Then let's do this. So let's run. So you see, when we print alien before adding items to it, it was empty. When we added the items, look at how it becomes. So we have 2 different items in the dictionary. Then another question is, can we modify values in a dictionary? Yes, yes, which means that dictionary is mutable. We can modify values in it and add, we can more. So now let's modify some values in a dictionary. So let's see the example. We have a variable alien 0 and we have 1 item in it. We have the key, which is color, then we have the value, which is green for that key. Then when we print this will print green because here we supply the variable containing the dictionary, then we supply the key to access the value for that key. So this will print green, definitely. Then here, after printing, we can go ahead and modify the color. We can say, hey, computer, please can you override the color code in this particular key? Then this is how to do it. You just need to get the variable or the value you want, then you assign the value to the key. So this needn't to be it can be a variable. So if you have variable somewhere declared, you can just assign it to this. If you have string, if you have list, if you have another dictionary, you can just use this assignment operator to assign the value to the key, then it will work. So here we expect to see yellow instead of seeing green. So the top will print green, then the second will print green if the program works. So let's run and see. So yeah, as expected, the program, uh, the second line print green because the value for this key is green. Then second, that's the fourth line. The fourth line tries to assign, to reassign yellow to that key. So if you reassign another value to that key, overwriting the previous one. So here, when we try to access color, the color has been changed to yellow. So that's why we see yellow. So the alien is now yellow instead of being green. So let's see whether we have some questions. Okay, for more interesting example, let's track position of an alien because we are using alien example that can move at different speeds. So this is an example for gaming. So we are going to track the position. So we will store a value representing alien current speed. So we have the current speed for now. What's the current speed of the alien? So we can use a variable to that value. Then use it to determine how far to the right the alien should move. So we are talking about game. So in game we have characters that move from one position to another. So now we have a variable alien 0. Then we have x position. In Cartesian graph we have x, y. Cartesian whereby x is horizontal, y is the vertical. So we can plot any form on that graph. So uh, here we have the x position and we assign value 0 to that key. And here we have y position, we assign 25 to it. Then we have the peak median. So you see we can combine. This one is integer, this one is integer, the value of this one, but this one is string. So it doesn't need to be homogeneous. It can be heterogeneous. So the value can just make. So when we try to print the original position, this position before we change it, this is how to access the x position here. So let's run so that we can go ahead line by line. If the alien's zero speed is this, here we are using f if as we did yesterday. So here is our test condition, if you could remember. Because this equal sign. So here we are saying if the value of this, if we try to access this value through this key, so this one will return a value from the dictionary. If the value returned by this is equals to low, then we do this, we increment by 1. Elif, we have another condition that we want to check. So if this condition is true, we increment by 1. So we have this value, uh, variable x, uh, x increment. So we increment it by 1. Otherwise, if it's not, this condition is not true, it will just go to this condition. So if this condition is true, it will just keep this part. All of this part will be skipped because this condition is true. If this condition is false, it will just go to the second condition. Here, so we have this condition test. So if the current speed, that's the speed here, is the same as median, it is equal to median, then it will increment by 2 here instead of incrementing by 1. So if this condition is true, this line will be executed like 8. If the condition is still, okay, if the condition is still not true, it will just go to else. So any other thing, if this condition is not true and this condition is not true, any other value you see that is assigned to it, just increment by 3. So let's see someone saying he doesn't understand. Maybe you can ask questions. Where exactly? Because I don't know where you don't understand. Mm-hmm. Yes, Nazir, you can omit yourself and speak. Yes, Nazir. I can't hear you. Are you speaking? Yes. Omit yourself and speak. Mm-hmm. So we have two different people who wants to ask questions. Please ask your question because we want to stop exactly at 3. Okay, let's continue. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah. But let me repeat this part. Okay, Nafisa Ali, you raise up your hand.
Okay. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can ask your question.
Okay, my question is, what is the use case of dictionary?
No, I
The
can't
use
hear
case.
you properly. Can you repeat your question?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I said, what are the use cases of dictionary? Real life scenario.
Oh, in the real world scenario,
Yes.
yes, yes. There are many instances that you can use dictionary. Let's say, you have let's take the school setting. In a school setting, whereby you have number of students. So let's do it. Let's say you have number of students that have their schools. So let's say you have a school like this school here. So you have a student with an ID, say BK slash maybe CSC slash maybe 22, that is this, and with this number. Then you can have is marked here like this. So you can put his marks here. Then you have another student with another ID similar to that. You say maybe slash ESC slash this, and you have this as well. So we have maybe this one is 2014. Then you can give values here. So maybe the values can be the marks of that particular student. So you can put it here. And sometimes when we go to maybe when we come to data science, you may be able to test, you may be able to train a machine learning algorithm, and you don't know which one is better. So you can train and put in the dictionary, this one has this result, this one has this result. Then later you can compare. This one gives you this particular uh, result, then this one gives you which one is better with respect to the parameters you supply. So there are many instances that we can do. And again, let's take another example. Let's say in a phone number, you can have the name of the person. Just we can call it this one phone book, for example. When you have phone book, you can have a particular person, maybe Umar. Let's call him Umar. Then you can have different numbers here, 0706756 this, just like this. So the number is too much, yes. So you can have another number. When if he has another number, you can just put it here. 080 this 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 this. So initially you can have one number, then you can add. So if you have another contact, just put it here, put his number. So in the real world, you can do this. So you can create a phone book application using this dictionary. You can map the name of the person, which is the key, you map it with the values, the numbers he has. And it must not be less. Maybe you can have another dictionary here. You can have another dictionary here. So in the dictionary, then you can put maybe the numbers again. Maybe you can call it numbers. Sorry, you can call it number or numbers or phone numbers. Then here you can map it to set of phone numbers here. So this, then you can have other phone numbers here. Then because it is dictionary, so you can separate this by comma. So we have this key and we have this value. Then you can have email as well here as another key. Then you supply number of emails here. So dot at com. So if there is another email, just put it there. But remember, you have to put that quotations here. So this is in the real world, this can happen. So you can put many things here. Maybe phone numbers, you can say home numbers, then you can even put address there. So dictionary is very useful. You can use it in the real world. So any other question? Understood first?
Yes, sir. I have understood. That means that dictionary can contain phrase, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Yes. So let's move on. So this is what we have already treated yesterday. We have the test, we have this. So we increment based on the speed here. So if the speed is medium, then we increment by 2. If it is slow, we increment by 1. Otherwise, just go ahead and increment by 3, whatever you see. Muhammad Nazifi?
Yes, sir. When incrementing, are we not supposed to use plus?
Yes, here we are not actually incrementing. I was just using increment because of this word. We are assigning value. We are just assigning to this as increment by one. So we are just assigning value. We are not actually incrementing. We don't consider the previous value. When we want to increment, we use another value. I was just using this word increment. So it wasn't actually incrementing. When you want to increment, we have these assignment operators. Apart from this assignment operator, we have another assignment operator, which is this, and we have another one, which is this. We have another one, which is this. So all of these are assignment operators. This one, uh, we assign when we add like one here or two. So here we are incrementing. We take into account the previous value. But when we do this, we don't uh, consider the previous value in the variable. With all of this, when we assign this to this, we consider the previous values in the variable. But here we are just overriding. We are just assigning. So here we are just assigning 1 to x increment. Here we are assigning 2 to x increment. Here we are assigning 3 to x increment. I think we are now clear. So this is it. So because the speed is medium here, so the key is assigned to value medium. James?
Yes, I have a question, sir.
Yes, you're
My
welcome.
question, my question is, in the value inside of a dictionary, can we have a variable that was declared outside as a value inside of
Very,
a
very
dictionary?
correct. Yes, you can have it. You can have it. So you can assign a variable here to what the computer will see, but make sure you didn't put quotations there. So if you put quotation, it will just treat the string it is here. But if you remove the quotation, for example, we have let's say we have this medium, we declare it outside like this medium. Let's say we have this medium, then we assign some value to it. Let's call it medium as well. So here you can put this variable here, but make sure you remove this this quotation. So when you run it, then it will work the same way as it works. So the medium is not defined because I didn't run this. So when I run this, it just work as expected here. So you
All
can
right.
use variable as long as you already define that variable.
All right.
So
Thank
let's,
you.
yes, so we now learn how to create a dictionary, how to add key value pairs to the dictionary. We know how to add key value pairs to the dictionary. So now can we remove key value pairs from the dictionary? Yes, true, we can do that. So when a value or key value pair is no longer needed, for example, in the real world dictionary, it can happen that we have words that are called all the use. Sometimes you can have them, but sometimes they are just removed from the dictionary. So if you want to remove it, then you can just remove it using del. You remember this when we're deleting items from a list or deleting the list itself. So we use this keyword del. So now let's consider this example. So we have this example as usual. We have two items in it. Then here we print. When we print, we have the dictionary. Then here we want to delete the point here. So we want to delete this part. So we use the key. You see that we use the key to access this value. So when you delete the key, it will just go together with the the value. So when we say delete this, so this is actually value because this will access the value, then it will just go together with the key. So when we print this is what happens. Before we apply this operation, we have the whole items in the list. But here we deleted the second item in the list. So we have the first item in the value, the value there. So this is how to delete items. Now how to add, when you want to add, you just need to put the name of the variable holding the dictionary, then you put the new key, then you use a silent operator, then you supply the value. So it will add that. So when you want to delete, you just use the keyword there, then you supply the name of the dictionary, you open the square bracket, then supply the key you want to delete. So this is when you want to delete one item. So you have to be careful when deleting items. So you should be aware that the deleted key value pair is removed permanently. Not like the function we applied to string yesterday. When you have string like this, you have this, you have this string, and maybe you say you apply a function to it, maybe lower. When you apply this, run, you see that this, and we see that it doesn't change this permanently. So all of this, maybe you have alpha, so the sentence doesn't change the value permanently. You understand? And the other function like is alpha, is low, is alpha numeric, they don't change this permanently. They just return a copy of that, as we discussed yesterday. I think they just return a copy of that variable. So this one is just a copy of this, not actually this. So that's why this is not changed permanently. But in dictionary, whenever you delete, so you have to be careful when dealing with that. And again, you can use dictionary. I just remember, suppose you are creating a website, and someone log into to the, to the, to the, to the site. So when someone log into the site, you can just go to the table that holds the users and just grab some information and store in a dictionary so that whenever in the dashboard you can see this is a person login at particular time. So it's very, very useful. So let's see this dictionary, a dictionary of similar objects. So here is just like someone who conducted a survey. So the survey asked different people to say their favorite programming language. So when Jane was asked, what is your favorite language? Then he said that my favorite language is Python. While Sarah says C, while Edward says Rust, Phil says Python. So Python wins because he has two people that chose Python as their favorite language. So this is a dictionary. You see, we started with this bracket, then we have the key, then we have the value. We have key, value, key, value, key, value. So we have key value pairs in this dictionary. So now let's run this. So now we have this dictionary with value, the key value pair. So to use this dictionary, given the name of person who took a fall, you can easily look up their favorite language. So when you want to see their favorite languages, the value, so you can easily do that. How do you do that? For example, to see what Sarah chose, we add the value at this. So we can write the name of the dictionary or the variable holding the dictionary, then we apply the Sarah, the name of the of the respondent, then it gives us the language. So this is it. So we have this. So here we apply a function. So you can apply a function if, apply title. So you just write this to alpha. This one returns a copy as well. So when this operation is executed, so it returns the value here, C, and C will be capitalized by this function, and the result is stored in this variable called language, and here we print the variable, what is in the variable, what is stored in the variable. So let's not see this. The one we run, we see that we have the favorite language is C. Look at this. So look at this. So you can use this. Remember, if you want to use this, so you have to use double quotes here. So we have another function as we have with the list. So we also have function that works together with a dictionary. So let's see what happens when we ask for point value of an alien that does not have a point value set. So look at this. We have this key color. We have another key speed. But here we are asking different points here. We are using a key that doesn't exist in the dictionary. So let's see what happens. You see, key error. Python is clever enough to tell you the error you have. So when you see this key error, it means that the error comes or happens as a result of the key. Therefore, you have to look at your key. Maybe you misspell it. Instead of using color, maybe you use colors, or instead of using speed, maybe you use speed with S. So you have to look at your point. So when looking at this point, you will understand that there's a problem. This key doesn't even exist. So we have to change for another key or use another way of maybe get rid of this kind of error. Because when you have this kind of error, it can just crash your program, no matter how long you spend working on it. So you can use get method to set default value that will be returned if the requested key doesn't exist. So instead of, if you don't want to see this kind of error, so you can use default value, so that instead of getting this error, you will get that message. So you will just know that this is what happened. So let's look at this one. So we have this example as the previous one. We have two items. Then here we say we want to get. So we are using get to get the value at this point. You see? So here the get expects you to supply the key together with the default value you want to display if this key does not exist. So if the key exists, it will just return the value. Otherwise, it will return this value. That's the default one. So let's see what happens. So you see, instead of crashing the program, now it returns this message. So that's the use of the method get. Umar Zakaria, you have questions?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Now about this key value, can we use an if statement if this value is not present? We should just assign no point value assigned. Can we use if statement for dictionary?
No. You know what? You know the reason? The reason is
Okay.
when you use this, for example, let's see, where is the point? Let's say you have this. Why you shouldn't use it? This. Let's take it one by one. Imagine you supply this. This one will definitely get an error because this one is an error. It can't be compared with what you are looking for. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have the left hand side, which will be compared to the right hand side. Maybe let's call it this medium. What? I don't know. So let's say we have this. You want to compare the left hand side with the right hand side. You know, the computer will try to evaluate this part and then evaluate this part, then evaluate the whole part. You understand? It will just start with this part, evaluate this one, maybe this one is another expression, then it will go and evaluate this one. So this the last evaluation whereby we compare this part to this part will come last. So when the computer tries to evaluate this one, it will just get an error. So that's why you can't use if to get the answer.
Thank you, sir. Well understood.
Okay. So let's we know how to get how to use get. You just use the name of the variable containing your dictionary, then dot get, then you open bracket, you supply the key, then you supply the default message. That's it. Very, very simple. So if there is a chance the key you are asking for might not exist, so consider using the get method. You understand? If you know that there's a chance, maybe you allow users to search for things. For example, when you try to create a phone book application, you can try to get to develop a phone book application using Python. So when you know that when you allow users to search for a particular person, maybe you want to get uh, the number for Muhammad, and Muhammad does not exist. The key Muhammad does not exist. If there is tendency for that, and there is tendency for that because Muhammad can be misspelled, someone can type Muhammad, can type Muhammad, M capital, or all in caps. So since there is this kind of tendency that the key may not exist because Muhammad all in caps and Muhammad all in lowercase are treated differently, so there is tendency to get to, to have a key not exist in the dictionary, so you have to use this get. So now let's loop through because um, sometimes looping makes repetitive tasks very easy. So you may have a very large dictionary, just like a real world dictionary. You can have a Python dictionary with large number of key value pairs in it. So how can we automate maybe displaying or searching those items in the dictionary? So a single dictionary can contain just a few key values pair or millions of pairs. Yeah, because a dictionary can contain large amount of data, Python lets you look through the dictionary, so we can automate uh, iterating through the key or value or the both. So you can get the key or you get the the value, or you get both key and value at the same time. So dictionary can be used to store information in a variety of ways. Therefore, several different ways exist to loop through them. So there are several ways that you can use to loop through a dictionary. So you can loop through all of the dictionary's key values pairs through its keys or through its values. So you can loop through the keys or through the values or through the items in the key pair as well. So let's start by looking through all key values pairs stored in a dictionary. So how do we do that? Now let's see what is in this dictionary. So this is the dictionary. We have these three different items in the dictionary. We have this the first key, then second key, then the third. The first value, second value, last value, third value. So how do we look through the dictionary? So we apply this function. So there are different functions that we can apply. We first so get, so we can also use item. So one, when you supply this, what it does is it will just take, because dictionary is also iterable, it will just take the key from this applying this function. What it does is to just pick the key and value pair and store it here. So the key will just go for k, while the value will just go for this. So these are variables, just temporary variables as we used before. These are temporary. So the first key here, username will come here as the key, then the family will come to this B. So next time it will take this one and put it here. It will take this one and put it here. Next time it will take this one and put it here. It will take this one and put it here. So now let's see. So here we have the dictionary that we have already defined. Here we apply a function to get the key value pair in that dictionary, or stored in that dictionary. Then here this will be taken to this, the value will be taken to this. So now let's run. So this function print will print the key here, while this one will print the value. You can write this in one line if you want. So let's run that. So you see, so the first one it takes the key, then print the value. So this one takes care of the key, this one takes care of the value. So this is how to print the key value. Imagine you have millions of items in this dictionary. So these three lines can print all the millions of items or the key value pairs in the dictionary. Very simple, yes? So now we have another example that we saw previously for the whole or survey. Then here we have the dictionary that holds the key value pairs. Then here we have the dictionary. Then here we apply the function items, which will give us the key value pairs. So the key will be here while the value will be here. But we know that the key is name, so you can use key and be here. But for readability purpose, you need to use name that the variable name which is more suitable here. So this is how it goes. Here we pick up the name here, then we apply the function title. Here we have the language, this one, apply the title. We convert all the key and values the title key. Let's run. So now you see, took the key, this is the value, and the title. So here we look through the key values pair using items. But if you are only interested in the name, for example, you can have a phone book example. Say we have a phone book, but your interest is to see all the name in your phone book, but you are not mindful about the values, the number. So you can use keys here. So you are looking for the keys. That's why we have only single variable here, because this will return a key, the first key, here, then you print it, then it will go to the next key. You take it and put it here, then you print it, you go to the next. Take it, put it here, you print it, go to the next. So until you reach the last key in the dictionary. So remember here we applied this function title to our key into title case. So when we run, this is what. So previously we have this, but now our result, because we applied the function, we have displayed as title case. So looking through keys is actually the default. So there are, in programming, there are default behavior, and there are behavior that you can change by supplying maybe some arguments. So when looking through dictionary, this is the default behavior. The key is the default. So this code would have exactly the same output if you wrote it. So if you just wrote without applying a function dot key here, you will get the same result. So this one and this one are the same, because by default it will just return a key in this name variable in your dictionary. It will just return the key in that dictionary. But it is good to specify what you are looking for. So you can choose to use keys if you want, and you can omit it if you want. So let's go to the next example. This example, what it does is it uses the key as well. So look at this. This is our dictionary as usual, and this we have a list. So here we have favorite languages, whereby we have these letters and their favorite languages. But here is a list. So we have this, Phil, and we have Sarah. So we name in this. So this will return the key, which is, are the names put in the dictionary. So this line will print hi. It will just say hello, say hi to the key it encounters here in the name. So now we have special things here, because this part, the indentation part, is under this rule. So whenever we run this line run as well, depending on the condition. So now we check if name here stored in the temporary variable. If name is in my list, I have a special list here. If the name, after saying hi, then please look at this. Is the name you said hi in my list in French? If it is, then do this. That's the meaning of this. So this one we just take the name, make it title. Then here we have the name, title. I see you love, then the language. Here we take the value, which is the language, and put it here. So what this does, all the names that are not in my list here will just print it here, but the rest which are in my list will get printed here, and they should have special treatment. So let's run. So look at Jen. Jen is not in my list, therefore it doesn't have any special treatment. Then, but the rest have special treatment. So not everyone's name is printed, but our friends receive special messages. They are our friends. That's why we use if. So you can also use keys method to find out if a particular person was false In these times, let's find out if Erin took the phone. So look at this. So we can use this in. Okay. So this is the magic in. So you can use a variable like this, even without if, it will return if what you are looking for, this one is in the dictionary. If you want to negate it, if not, and negate it is not. So if Eric is not in the keys, then do this. So it's very, very simple. So Erin, please take your phone. Erin, please take your phone because Erin is not in the dictionary. If you look at this, so it's not part of the key here. So looking through a dictionary is in a particular order. So it doesn't mean that you can uh, look through the dictionary in the default order. So you can uh, look through the dictionary in a particular order. For example, here we have our dictionary. This, then here so the computer will start running this line from this part. So it will just check this dictionary and then apply this function to it. So this one will just grabs the keys, all the keys in the then it will just go and apply this sorting function. Remember, sort function and sorted. So when we have sorted, so we supply the values inside it. But when we have sort, we use dot. So if it is a list, we can have our list dot sort. But if it is sorted, we need to apply argument here. So, so for this one, to just sort all the keys graphs from here in ascending order. We know that the default behavior of sorted is sorting in ascending order. So this one will be sorted. Then when this has been sorted in ascending order, then the items in it will be sorted here one by one. So go and take the first one, the first item that the item that comes first, to just store it here and print it here. So go to the next, print it here. You go to the next, print it here. So now let's run this and see. So this is what happens. So when these names are sorted, this is what will happen. This one, this are ascending order. E comes first before J, then E before L. So you can look through all values in the dictionary. So you can look through key value pairs, you can look through the keys, you can look through values. So to look through items, we use the function or method items. For keys, we use keys. For values, we use values. So here we are going to display all the values. So remember, you can apply that function sorted. So let's run. So this is what we have. So here we have all the values. But we are not interested in keys. We can use values here. So this is very important. Now let's see this example. So So here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a set in this. Look at this. We have this, and the following has been mentioned. So for this, in set this. So what this does is, set in mathematics is set. Let's see here. Let's see whether we understand. When you want to create a set, maybe we have U, maybe we have U set. So when we have this one is called what? It's called empty set, yes? It's an empty set. So what about this? So U is not an empty set. It's a set containing empty set. So let's do this. Let's say I have 1, I have 2, I have 3, I have 1, I have 2, I have 3. How many elements do we have in this set? Does anyone knows? Can you unmute yourself and tell us that? How many elements do we have in this set?
3.
3, yes? Yes, we have 3 elements because set doesn't contain repetitive items in it. So we have 3. So because this one, there is 1 here, there is 1 here, so set will treat this one. So it will just discard this one and this one. So that's why here we use set here. When there are repetitive things here, it will just delete it and remove it. So this approach pulls values from dictionary without checking for refix. So this is what it does. This might work fine with small number of values, but it will fall with a large number of respondents. So to see each language choosing without repetition, you can use set. Set is a collection in which each item must be used. So let's run this, see what we have. So look at this. This line is meant to print all the values in the dictionary. But because we know that we have 4 values in the dictionary, we have this Python, we have this, we have this, and this function returns here, returns all of the 4 values here. But because we applied set to it, so that's why we have only 3, because another Python value will be discarded. That's why we have 3. And this is very elegant way. Maybe if you want to check how many things you have in a particular data structure. So you can build a set directly using braces and separating the element with comma. So look at this. We have set, then this is. So remember, this one is not valid pair, but it uses the same bracket as used by a dictionary. So we just have the values here, but it's not key value pair. So nesting. Is just like chaining. Sometimes you will want to store multiple dictionaries in a list. So you have this dictionary, you have another one, you have another one. So you want to maybe do all of this in a particular array or a list of items as value in a dictionary. So this is called nesting. You can nest dictionaries inside a list. You can see here we have first dictionary, we have second, we have third, then here we have a list because we use this kind of bracket. Have this. Remember, we didn't use quotation, so here we are telling Python to look for the values stored in the variable. Here the something, here the something, because we didn't use quotation. The values will come here. Here. So when you try to display aliens, so this is what you see. We have the list in dictionary because this one will look for the values stored in the variable. One would also look for the values stored in the variable one as well. So how do we print? So we can use for loop to print. So look at it. Go to the list, pick item one by one. This is treated as item one. This one, two, this one, three. So if you want to look for the color, follow code T so that you can get the color. So you can try slash maybe the T, put color there, then you can put point, 5 here. So now let's see this one. So here we have an empty list. Make an empty list for storing aliens. Here make a 30 aliens, 30 aliens. So we make 30 here because we see a range. 30. So this one is equivalent of item 0 to 30 because we know by default this starts with 0. So here we have a dictionary here. Then here we alien.append. So here we take our list and append a new alien. Then we can just take this one, put it in the list. When another list comes, then we just put one and put in the list. So it will just give 30 aliens. So here is all this aliens. But remember this, we did slicing. If we start from the first index, so this index minus 1, that is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we display them here. So this is what we have. So total number of aliens 30. Use this length function to tell us. So now here's the something. So we have this aliens, which is empty list. We started with the empty list. Here we are creating 30. Here and the list, which is empty here. So when you want to add a member list, how to add items to the list, you see that list can grow. So when you can use add items to the list. So here we are adding all of this line 30 times. Then here we look through element the list here, but here we are taking only the first 3 items in the list. Then not only checking, but we apply a text here. Checking if the color is green, then we do this. And yellow to the color. So we are overwriting the green color and replacing it with yellow. Then the speed, we replace the speed with medium, then we replace the point with 10. So these are applicable to only the first three items in that. So let's, okay, then here we show the first five aliens. Next one. So this is, you see that the color has been replaced with yellow. First three items. But here we see the first three items. But the rest, you see, we have taken
Excuse
five.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, your voice is low, it's very low.
Okay, it's very low. Yes, it's my mic that went behind me because I was lying. I was trying to lie, so lying down. So I'm sitting. So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you hear my explanation about this? So here we were taking only we are creating 30 uh, aliens here because we use 30 here. So by default, the range function starts with 0 to this number minus 1. So when we start from 0 to 29, it means that we have 30. Then here we took this part and store it here. Then here we use a fn method to add items to our empty list. So we should have 30 aliens in this list. Then here we use for loop to iterate through the list. But instead of taking the whole items in the list, we say that we are interested in only three items in the list. That's why we say start from the list to this number minus one. So here we are graphing only three items in the list. Then here we say we want to do something with the list. We are interested in a situation whereby if the color is green, only aliens with green color. If their color is green, what we just need to do, but only remember only three. All the colors will be green, but we are interested in the first three here because here all the aliens will have these properties. All of them have the same properties because we didn't change anything here. We didn't use the random function to choose a color for them. All of them have the same properties, all the 30. But here we are graphing only three of them. Then we check if the color is green, just we don't need we actually don't need this line because we can just go ahead and override, but because we want to learn how to use if statement, so that's why we use this. So we check if the color is green, then we can just go ahead and just put yellow to it, and then we go ahead and look at the speed and assign medium to it, then we go to the point and assign 10 to it. So now this line, what it does is we are just getting the first five items in the list alien. Then we use for loop to iterate the process. Instead of using indexing, so we can use for loop to get the items at once. So here, this is what we did. We just go and take the first five items. Then we put the first one here. We print it. We put the second one. The Python will do this for you. It will just go and pick all the five items one by one, putting it here. Then you print it. Put it here. We print it. So that's why we have this output. So when we run, this is what we get. So we also have this one. This one, what it does is we have the for loop, then we have this. So here we are getting the first three items. So you can neglect this 0 if you want. Then we have this if the color is this, almost something. So if the color is yellow, then we do this. So this is when we run this. So nothing because we didn't even print anything. So a list in a dictionary. So we can put a list in a dictionary. Look at this one. So we have this. Remember this definition too, whereby we search for beginner. Then we have this as the value. So this is the key. This is the value. So we can use a list in a dictionary. So because this one is a list, remember how we create a list using this square bracket. Then we supplied our values in the list. So the list needing to be it can be empty, it can have many items here. So for this definition in definitions, then we can print. So we can print the items in the list. So look at this. So now we have this because we use this beginner. So we are accessing this one. So this line, this thing, this expression, what is just, it will just graph this list. So this one, assume this to be the list. So it will just pick item one by one and put it in here. Then here we are printing. So let's go to another example. Here we have another example, Pixar. Then we have this key value pair in it. Then here we have the key crust. Then we have the value. Here we have the toppings, which are serve as a key, but the value for the toppings is a list. So here we print the fixer, we supply the key, then it will give us tick. Then for toppings, because we don't know how many items we can have in a list, so we can use follow. So if there are 100 items here, it just be printed here. If there are 10, it just print it. If there are none, it will just print nothing there. So this is good. So you see that we have this print the first line, while this one print the last line.
So is it best in the family?
So
Good.
so now let's go to the almost we are going to the last example. So let's see this one. This one has this, then this one, instead of having a single language, favorite language, so we have this one has two, this one has one, this one has two, this one has one. So it's better for you to use a for loop to print the languages here. So that's why we have this. So this one will go and fetch the key as well as the values. So here we print the key here, so that the name of the person with their respective favorite language. So this one, so we, because this one is a list, so we can use it here because it is iterable. Then we graph item one by one to this value, to this variable, then we print it. So when we run this one, this is what we see. See, for the first one, it has two favorite languages, and this one has one favorite language. This one has two. This one has two. So dictionary in a dictionary. So we can store dictionary in a dictionary. So like this one, we have the main dictionary, the father or the parent. Then we have the child here. Then we have the value here. So this is how we store a dictionary in a dictionary. So if this one is a key, then this is the value. You understand? So this one, instead of having a value, so the value is another dictionary. So look at this one. We have the key. So instead of having a value, so the value is another dictionary itself. So this is it. Then when you want to iterate through it, so we use items here, which will give us the key. Then this one will give us the value. So in this case, this value is a dictionary on itself. So when we have this line print the username, which is the key, while this one user info is a dictionary on itself, so that we can use a key in that dictionary to get value for that key. So that's why we have this. So then here is a location. So location can also be accessed here. Then here we are just printing and as well as applying this title function to it. So this is what we have. So this is what we learned today. So we learn how to work with dictionaries, how to define dictionaries, access, modify, look through dictionaries using key values and items. Then we explore the nested structure whereby we store a dictionary list, and then and use maybe later in the next chapter we introduce while loops. We've been using for loops to another way of looking through objects or iterable using while loop. If you want. So loops are used to perform repetitive tasks. So thank you for listening for today. We took long. We have added another almost an hour on top of the usual hour. So thank you for listening. So question from Abdul Jalal. So we are not going to take much questions because of the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you properly.
Okay, sir. Sir, it's regarded to my problem that I asked you yesterday. I tried what you said to me, and the problem up to now it still persisted. I even watched YouTube, but it's showing it's already shown that the kernel is dead. That is what it's put to me today. The
Okay,
kernel is
what you
dead.
should do, go to Telegram and first you can screen capture the error and post it there so we can solve the issue, inshallah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.